This is a story about the French Revolution, and I suppose you all remember the Scarlet Pimpernel. So it was a time of the Revolution, and there was an Englishman, an Irishman, and a Scotsman. They all wanted to help the royals beat Robespierre and the Revolution. Anyway, to cut a long story short, they got caught. So they all went to court, and they were sentenced to the guillotine. So they went up on the stand. Up there was a guy with a lever, the guillotine, everything, and all the crowd were watching and cheering. Anyway, the Englishman went up first. They said, "Is there anything you want to say before, we pull the lever?" And he said, "Yes," he said. He said, "I'm a brave Englishman." And he said, "What I want to do, instead of putting my head on the block in the normal way, I want to put my head back. I want to see that guillotine come down and cut my throat." People going crazy. How could they do that? Anyway, he does this. He leans back. His head's on the block. There's a roll of drums. They pull the lever. Stops a quarter of an inch from his nose, around neck. And they say, "Wow, this must be an act of God." And they let him go. And the Scotsman is watching this. And he says, "Well, if there's a brave Englishman, the Scottish are just as brave as the English." So he said, "I want to put my head back, and I want to see that guillotine come down and cut my throat." And they said, "Another madman." So he goes down, he puts his head back on the block, and he goes, "Okay." And they pull the lever, stops a quarter of an inch from his neck. Another good act of God. So the Irishman's watching this, and he said, "Well, if they can do it, I can do it." So he said, "I'm going to do with we're just as brave as the English and the Scottish." He said, "I want to put my head back on that block, and I want to see it come down." So he puts his head on the back of the block. There's a roll of drums, and he said, hold it, I can see the problem."
Good, you could have.
Oh, God. Don't you think it's a funny joke?